So I decided to go to the Goodwill outlet, aka the Goodwill bins, and I found these Air Force Ones sitting in the shoe section. So any old Air Force Ones don't catch my attention, but these have an older shape and they say Chi-Town on it. So they're probably about 20 years old. Immediately bath time. These look like they contracted COVID-20. Okay, realistically, I think that these are yard work shoes because they got grass stains and dirt stains all over them. I'm using Refresh sole cleaner and laundry detergent and lots of elbow grease just to get all this stuff out. I'm going to be doing a little bit of experimenting this time. I have two hydrogen peroxide based products. On the right side, I'm going to be using Sally's Beauty Supply's 40 volume cream, and on the left side, I'm going to be using CCK Soul Sauce, which has a little more additives in it. I'm going to give these at least 4 hours of sun exposure just to see if there's any difference in work. And bam, these switched back quicker than Ariana Grande could ever. It looks like the products have had the same result, but the CCK has done just a baby bit better. It works better for translucent soles like on Jordan 11s because those need multiple sessions. Trust me, I'm no scientist. I actually failed all my science classes in high school, but all I know is that this came from the computer community and it made its way into the shoe world. Those old 90s computers that look beige, they're really supposed to be white, so somebody found a way to do it with hydrogen peroxide. I can't just leave one side oxidized, so I'm going to do the inner side of the shoes, and I only have a couple hours of sunlight left, so let's see how well this works. Not to my surprise, the hydrogen peroxide based products did their job. I recommend you trying it on your yellowed Air Force Ones. You have nothing to lose. So with used shoes, you're always going to have the inner part of your heel all scuffed up. It's usually paint and dirt, but you can get this off with acetone. I would also like to add the comments that I get on some of my videos like this. Well, you spent $3 on your shoes, but $200 worth of labor and supplies, blah, blah, blah. Just buy some new ones. Look, fixing vintage shoes is something really unique, and why do you think they keep releasing these old shoes? Because they obviously look the best. The old releases have a much better shape and sometimes better quality, so there's a whole reason why I do this. But I'm pretty invested in my hobby, so maybe that's also why. But the shoes went from beaters to a little less beat looking, but you know what? I still consider a save in my book because I got them for really cheap, and Nike doesn't really do Air Force Ones like this anymore. These Air Force Ones are 18 years old, and to any normal person, these belong in the garbage. There's no point in saving these. They're Air Force Ones. They're boring, they're basic, and the soles are crumbling internally. But I don't care about normal people's opinions, and I love myself a classic original colorway, just like this. So, public service announcement, every single Air Force One that's over 15 years old probably looks like this in the inside. Luckily, cheap sole replacements are easy to find for Air Force Ones. I found these for 10 bucks on eBay. Anyway, back to why I was saving these. This is an original colorway. Air Force Ones originally came out from 1982 to 1984, and Nike barely releases them in the original form. So, even though this pair came out in 2003, this is probably the closest and the cheapest I can get to an original. Oh, that's too much work. Why don't you just buy a new pair? Unfortunately, that's not how shoe releases work. It could be years or decades for this colorway to come back out again. And I really like the shape of the 2003, and to me, that's worth fixing these. I know it's a lot of effort for some creased up, crappy Air Force Ones, but at least I'm happy with the outcome. Now I can pretend that I'm a side character in Stranger Things. I'm gonna consider myself a little bit lucky because at the thrift store, I found these Jordan 10s sitting on the rack. And since thrifting has become such a popular thing recently, the thrift stores have been marking up their Jordans like crazy. But these are only $15, and I think it's because of the condition that they're in. They look like they're at the point of no return. I would be an idiot if I passed up this price. Yes, they're from 2018, and yes, I almost strictly do vintage, but there are some exceptions, like finding some cheap retros that need some TLC. Anyway, these deserve a bath. I'm gonna mix Angelus or Lincoln Easy Cleaner, and I'm gonna mix some Refresh Shoe Cleaner just for the f of it. I want my shoes whiter than an EDM remix to a Travis Scott song, so I'm gonna put some Shout in there, and laundry detergent because I like my shoes to smell good. Okay, so detergent versus shoe cleaner. I like to use detergent in a deep clean like this, but shoe cleaner is better for convenience. Like a small on-the-go spot scrub, shoe cleaner is much better for that situation. Because nobody can tell me what to do, I decided to mix both. Insoles, same treatment. You saw that dirt water, I don't trust these shoes. And I always finish with a thorough rinse. Now, you know what's a little bit crazy? Jordan 10s used to be an expensive model, but now they're dirt cheap. Every single colorway, they're always under $100. Used pairs, at least. Alright, now, so the soles are super yellow. They look really ugly. I'm going to reverse it with some hydrogen peroxide based products. I'm using CCK Soul Sauce, but you can also use Salon Care 40 Volume, and this will get the same results. Now, after about 2 hours, this is what my soles look like with the product on it after it's been exposed to UV rays, i.e. the sun. Upon further inspection, I think some of the Soul Sauce leaked onto the leather, and it burned through the leather, so I'm going to fix it with my Dremel. A flat stone tip in this situation is perfect, because I don't want to grind too far into the material. Now, next step, I'm going to use my leather filler. This is called FC2 Soft Filler. This is originally made for vinyl seats and cars, but it works perfect for shoes because you'll see the outcome after I'm done with this. I let the soft filler dry for about a day, and now I'm going to use some sandpaper to grind it down. I'm using 600 and 1200 grit. I'm going to get it as smooth as possible, and then I'm going to finish it off with some acetone. It's painting time, so I'm going to add about 3 or 4 coats of Angelus leather paint, but the surface is still a little uneven, so I'm going to sand it down to get it flat again. Now, I'm a little unimpressed with the shade of white that I used. It's a little too bright and fluorescent. I'm going to mix it with some bone. This is another color offered from Angelus. This way I can get the more natural tone of the leather. The midsoles on most Jordan 10s are not painted. They're made out of Phylon, which is just one solid color, but they do collect a lot of dirt. So I'm going to use acetone to try to get out as much dirt as I can. Now, last and final step for my 10s is filling in the blemishes and the marks. I use Angelus leather paint again, and now my $15 yellow Jordan 10s are as white as snow. And I'm also very impressed with my leather filler. It filled in the hole really good.